Alright everybody, it's Reaper, also known as Pat Patriot. This is my first YouTube video ever, except for like back in the day, but I mean this is the first one that I'm going to be doing for this sort of thing. So bear with me if it's a little out of focus, if I'm like way too close to the camera or whatever. I'm filming it on my junk ass Kodak, so just bear with me. One of the things that a lot of people have been asking me is, ever since the evil Cracker Barrel incident the other day, they're like, well, why long guns? You know, why the hell are you carrying long guns? And they've been absolutely like condemning me to the pits of hell for carrying a long gun. I have 7 reasons why. I posted them on the internet, but let me go over them real quick. One is my long gun, which that day, the funny part is I was actually carrying this Winchester Model 94. It's a lever action firearm. This has been pretty standard for hunters and cowboys and everything else, and this was actually the assault weapon of its day when it first came out. And when lever actions first came out with a tubular fed magazine, the Confederates actually said it's that damn Yankee rifle that you could load on Sunday and fire all week, and we'll go into that in a minute. That day I was also carrying my 1911 Alpha 1 Commander. This is pretty much your 45 ACP 1911, except that it's got a slightly smaller grip frame, which makes it a little bit easier to carry, but normally I open carry this just because it's such a large handgun. My wife was carrying a, evil AR-15. This is a semi-automatic 5.56 chambered battle rifle, and it comes with standard capacity magazines which hold 30 rounds of 5.56 ammo. And she was also carrying her Charter Arms 38 Special Pink Lady. Sometimes I carry this because it's easier to carry when I'm jogging and backpacking and stuff like that. The first thing is my long arm is no more or no less dangerous than handguns. I don't have any of the Glock models here to demonstrate, but Glock models have internal safeties to keep them from going off if you accidentally drop them. They also have what's known as a trigger block safety. So basically on the trigger, there's a little block that basically has to be pulled down, plus the trigger has to be pulled down to fire. My 1911 has multiple safeties. It has an internal block safety, it's got a half-cock notch, it's got a beaver tail grip safety, it also has your standard slide mechanical safety there. And I carry around in the chamber on this. Well, if people carry around in the chamber on a Glock, it's accidentally, in theory, don't bash me for this, all you YouTubers out there, but in theory, that Glock actually has fewer mechanical safeties than this AR-15 does, which is a thumb mount safety right here. Plus, I'm not, normally I carry chambered. I don't know if my wife was carrying chambered that day, but either way, this has, mechanical safety, plus you got your booger hug. My long gun that I was carrying that day actually has multiple mechanical safeties. Not only does it have a loop safety, so I don't know if you can see that, but basically you actually have to squeeze the lever in, plus the hammer has to be fully cocked back, which that day I had a round in the chamber, but I dropped my hammer down to the half cock. But it also has a trigger block safety. And basically, if this trigger block safety is engaged, even though the weapon will fire, it actually blocks the firing pin and all that from firing. It's basically a cross block. Now, if it's on the fire position, it'll fire and actually fire the round and the firing pin hits and all that. Now, basically, this isn't even a semi-automatic weapon. Somebody said I was carrying a full auto weapon. Well, that's pretty damn funny, because every time I fire, I have to rack another round into the chamber. So that right there is just absolute bullshit, and it's redonkulous. So that's one reason I carry. I think it's really funny that people get irked out and they're like, oh, your long arms are gonna go off or something. Well, no, they're not. They're no more or no less safe than than anything else. My wife's revolver being double action, which, like I said, y'all can see that's unloaded. My wife's revolver being double action, all you got to do is pull the trigger, and it fires and advances to the next cylinder. So that's a big thing of bull hockey. Most gun crimes actually happen with these handguns, not long guns. So the fact that we're walking around carrying a long gun, you know, and people like automatically assume we're a criminal. If I come walking in somewhere with this, and you assume I'm trying to assault the place, you need your head checked. And while I'm on that topic, you know, somebody said, well, how do I know if somebody's carrying a gun whether or not they're a criminal? Well, the funny part is it's the gun that I can't see that I'm going to be worried about. You know, 60-some people being perfectly reasonable, and we were nice. I mean, we were no more loud or anything else than a normal busload of people coming in. Probably better than teens on a field trip or something. You know, we came in, we sat down. Mind you, we sat down. Cracker Barrel seated us and then threw us out, you know. People coming in with long guns, and we go to sit down. We're not wearing masks or anything else. We sit down, we eat dinner. You know, we hadn't even got our food yet, but I mean, all we were trying to do was eat dinner. You know, to think that we were trying to assault the place and people got scared, that's kind of ridiculous. Another thing, a handgun is not a primary weapon system. This thing is an absolute backup. As a U.S. Army soldier, if I had to go to this, there was something majorly wrong. And any defensive firearms instructor or anything else will tell you that. This is not in any way, shape, or form a primary weapon system. This is a secondary. And basically, if I got into a bad crime situation, like one of these mass shootings, I'd want to have one of these. I wouldn't want to have this. So we can dispel that myth. They're trying to take away our personal defense rifles. They call them evil assault rifles. I'm not going to go over the difference of this being an assault rifle, or you know, the fact that it's not an assault rifle rather, because there's plenty of other information out there on that, so do your research before you run your mouth. But they're trying to take these, you know, they're trying to take our personal defense rifles away, and we keep saying they're for defense. You know, my wife, this is a perfect defensive firearm for her. So let's actually get out there and carry them. You know, we open carry all the time, and we open carry these in the name of defense. So let's open carry this in the name of defense. So let's start carrying them in defense, you know. The other thing, too, is decrease the perception that they are evil. I mean, this rifle, we sat down. My wife actually has a picture of this. When she went in the bathroom, she actually hung it up on the hook in the bathroom. And we kind of made the joke that if Cracker Barrel didn't want weapons, why did they put a rifle hanger there? But this rifle's not an evil rifle. You know, this is actually what Olympic shooting teams use. I've seen Boy Scout Explorer troops use these. You know, I've seen a lot of kids shoot these. They're actually a decent rifle for a kid to learn how to shoot on, if you want to teach them on a semi-automatic rifle. Most people have never even shot a rifle go into the U.S. military, and they learn on this platform. Well, something similar to it. They learn on one with a 3-round burst option, which the civilian models don't have. So we need to decrease that perception that they're evil, you know, that guns are evil. I mean, if we have decent people carrying them, then they're not evil. The actual people that commit crimes with them are evil. The other thing, the police and the military are doing a lot of drills lately to be out in the public eye. Like in Philly, for example, I've seen police officers actually walking down the street with these M4 carbines and everything else, and they have an M4. They don't have an AR-15. There's a difference. But you know, they're making theirs commonplace. So let's show the civilian populace that, you know, our rifles are commonplace, and that armed citizens are commonplace, and that we're really who can defend you. Because the police are only you know, they're not there to protect you. I mean, honestly, the police, there was already a court decision based off of this, that police are there to investigate after the fact and all that. They're not there to actively protect you. You know, so let's make them commonplace. I mean, don't be afraid to carry this, you know. If you're open carrying a handgun, don't be afraid to carry this. And in a single point sling, you really don't even notice it's there. The other thing too is people are like, well, why didn't you just leave them in your cars? Well, funny part is you know, this is a, I mean, deadly weapon system. You know, it's a defensive rifle, so I don't want a criminal taking this and going and doing harm elsewhere. You know, we were at a gun rally. We had our long arms with us. All we wanted to do was eat dinner together. And, you know, so I mean, the fact is I wouldn't want to leave this in my car. You know, you're not going to leave your handgun in your car. Why leave your long gun in your car so that somebody can steal it, you know? The funny part is a lot of people, you'll notice the back of my vehicle. Now, granted, I drive a military-esque vehicle, and I also drive a deuce and a half. But if you notice the back of my civilian car, I call it my undercover car because it doesn't have Magpul stickers, it doesn't have veteran stickers, all that bullshit on it. Because the problem is when you do that, it's probably the most likely place to look for one of these in the trunk of a car. So that's my 7 things. You know, hopefully that clears up some common misconceptions. The other thing too is like, yeah, I did it as an event, you know, to actually increase awareness and all that. It wasn't some sort of psychotic public relations stunt. You know, the thing is like, I didn't think I was going to have any problems because Cracker Barrel actually selectively enforces our corporate policy, because I've seen people get thrown out for these, and I've seen people not get thrown out for these. The day of the rally on the 19th, my wife and I ate. She had this in a drop leg, and I had my handgun in a Serpa holster, and we didn't have any problems at all. And I've ate in there open carrying a couple times. Now, down in Virginia, they had a Cracker Barrel that threw people out for handguns. So it's kind of selectively enforced, you know, and that's why I'm calling for a boycott of them, is because you can't pick and choose our Second Amendment rights. And yes, it's their right to not have guns on their property, but it's our right as the people calling for the boycott to actually, you know, to actually increase awareness about the fact that they do pick and choose our Second Amendment rights. So hopefully that gets some of the stuff out there. Like I said, this was Pat the Patriot. Bear with me, the fact that this YouTube video probably sucked, and I also have a head cold, so whatever. But that's it, and keep your powder dry. Reaper out.